Allie, and I want to show you how to do this tilted right angle weave bracelet. It uses a lot of great colors. You can do it with a ton of different patterns, and just showing you how to do a right angle that you kind of turn to the side and then continue on with it. If you need any materials, remember they're below the video in the description, a link to get back to the website. Get everything out on your bead on it board and let's get ready to get started. So the first thing I want to do is go over materials, because what I'm going to be doing is taking the mixed matte mermaid glass, which has a nice oceany feel, and I'm going to be breaking it down into the different color ranges and kind of doing a collection. I've also loved the use of some of the disco balls, and you can use those in 6 or 8 millimeter. I have sitting here some 2 millimeter crystals. You can use 2s or 3s, bicones, rounds, does not matter. And then working with some of these 6 millimeter beads and some 11/0 seed beads ready to go to begin the design. So this simple design takes right angle weave and turns it basically on an angle as you go in and create another right angle weave. To begin with, I have an 11/0 seed bead working as a stop bead, giving me about 10 inches after that to add my clasp, and I'm working with a size 10 needle. I have my 11/0s here and my 2 or 3 millimeter crystals. Again, it's not going to matter for that. And then my little piles of my different colors. You want a little bit of bling, a little bit of flash. You can also use some of your brighter colors like crystals or so in it. So to begin, I'm going to be picking up a total of 1 and then an 11/0, 2, 11/0. Oops, it's popping over on the side there. 3, 11/0, 4, 11/0. And this is 6 millimeters. You can use 8/0 seed beads if you're going to be using an 8/0 bead or an 8 millimeter bead using 8/0. And I'm going to take this back through the first 3 beads here. This is going to be reminiscent of like the anytime, but instead of connecting on the sides here, we're going to connect in a different manner, in a different way. So that's what we're going over here, is that you're still getting that right angle weave look, but connected a little bit differently. From here, we're going to go back around the design, adding in an 11, crystal, 11, and then going back through those beads again. Just gives that little extra bling. I'm using plain crystal because I want the colors to really stand out in the design. And if you're using the mermaid glass like I am in the matte or the shiny, we have both, it is a good idea to kind of lay your colors out first. I did take the brown color out of my mixture because I wanted to keep those for another project where I'm going to use some turquoise and some of those. All right, after you have your little right angle weave kind of cube here that's decorated on the outside with the crystals, what I want you to do is turn the project to the side. And we're going to do right angle weave as well here. So when we do the right angle weave here, how we're going to do it is, 1, give yourself a nice tight pull there. We don't want to see a lot of extra thread. 2, we're going to pop out to the outer row here. So I'm popping out to the 11, crystal 11. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit more so you can see that a little bit closer. Bringing my thread and needle through that outer edge here. At the top, I'm going to add another one of my crystals. Then I'm going to add an 11, crystal, 11, another crystal, and then I'm going to go into those 3 beads that my thread is currently coming out of. So back into that first grouping of 11, crystal 11. And there we have that second on an angle little diamond going on. From here you can see I just flipped it in my hands because it's easier to hold that way. I'm going to go through the crystal, through those side beads right here, and I'm going to start that pattern one more time. This time I'm switching colors of those mermaid beads. So to start the pattern again, we're going to actually be starting with the outer edge and then working our way in the middle and kind of going back to the interior to get those 11/0s. So how are you going to start? You're going to start here with your next color. And I'm going to do, let's do pink next to the red. I know that might kill some people here, but pink. And then we do that same thing of the crystal, 11, crystal, and you're going to increase this with that hot pink. I'm going to do this a total of 4 of my 6 millimeter beads on, and then I'll go back and show you how we're going to tighten up the middle. So I now have my 4 6mm mermaid glass beads along with 11 O's and crystals in between each. I'm starting with a 6 and ending with a 6. And I'm going to go back through that 11, 2 or 3, 11. And see that gets that outer edge. This is also pretty if you want to just keep going along with that design and that idea. What I'm going to do instead is go into the next 6mm bead. We are going to kind of pinch them together, add an 11, pinch it together, and go through the next one of your 6mm beads, forcing those crystals to sit on the exterior. So you're going from the exterior, or from the interior rather, to the exterior, and then from the first one on, you're going to be going from the exterior to the interior, meaning doing the crystal on the outside versus doing the middle. From here, then, when you get back to this crystal section, add our combo, ignoring it, still adding an 11O, and going into the next 6mm bead. We want to pull that nice and tight so we get that triangle look, and that's just a pretty connection area. I'm going to go in here and go back through to tighten that up. One more time, going back through that 11, making sure that it's nice and tight. And then as you come out of that 8 right there, go into your next beads here that are your connection. Grab your 11, crystal 11, and then we're going to do that right angle weave connection again and just start over. That connection point once again is using one 11O coming out of all 3 beads there, then one crystal, I'm sorry. Then another crystal with 11 O's on both sides. So you've got your one crystal there, then your others. One more crystal after that. And then back into all 3 beads that sit along the side. Back into the 11, into the crystal, into the 11, and that's your true right angle weave. So on the top, you have just the crystal. On the sides, you have 11 crystal 11. From here, you're going to take your thread and needle over, across the top, and then down through the side, which again is that 11 crystal 11. And then you just repeat over and over again, changing out the colors for that nice, simple design of the crystal color mix. As you go around then through the bracelet, you can see all those pretty colors. I want to show them on the wrist because they don't really do justice with the camera there, all that shine and sparkle of the mermaid glass. I did add one of the brown ones in because I thought I liked the brown better than the crystal clear. And I just wanted to show again and reiterate the fact to how to make it tight. So you can do a second trip around, but after you go around and add your first grouping here, you want to almost pinch the beads and roll them towards the outer edge and pinch that 11O in tight. Grabbing in the next 11O, going through the next bead, and then kind of rolling the beads out towards the exterior. We'll pull that towards the interior and make them tight. I'm going to continue. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. I'm going to do a 9th and probably a 10th unit as well too, depending on your wrist size. And then I'll show you how we are going to add the clasp to our colorful sideways roll bracelet. Once you're done with your bracelet, it's time to attach the clasp, which I've already done on the other side using a multi-strand clasp and coming out of the end of the project. I am ending the project and I've gone back and added it here with that little bit of right angle weave, the crystal on the top and bottom, and then the 11 crystal 11 on the sides. From here, I'm going to go across the top, just like we've kind of been doing, down the side. And then instead of adding any more of our round beads, we're going to attach our clasp. Now I've kept the clasp here attached because I don't want any twists or turn in the clasp and not to put that push on the wrong side. So I'm going to first go up through the loop, back down through that last crystal, 11 crystal. Give a nice tight pull, making sure again that I'm not doing any sort of twisting in the bracelet and the design here. Go up through the other loop, back down through that loop again, or back down through that piece again rather, and now reinforce it. So you can go back around the right angle weave in between, you can come back through, but it gives a nice close tight end along the bracelet. Once you're done there, just tie off your thread ends and get your bracelet cut off. I like the look of the multicolor. I can't wait to see a bunch of your designs in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, because I think in different colors and crystals, this is just going to be a gorgeous bracelet to kind of add to your collection. Nice spring colors to help it pop in an easy right angle weave that you just embellish and turn basically to the side. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this tilted raw bracelet. Remember, if you need any of the materials, look below the video in the description. We always put a link there to get back to our site so you can gather everything you need. As well as, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.